This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is producer Jemmy with episode number 547, a best of. The gang is out today, so we're rolling things back to February 2018 when they checked in on the West Coast Dressage scene with Megan McIsaac and then discussed second level for the total saddle fit tip. Listen in.
Stanfield from Loxahatchee, Florida.
This is Philip from Rockwood, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show.
Well, hi, guys. And we have Glenn, too. Hi, Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn. But he's not really on, and he is on, and he's off, and he's very busy these days.
I'm here, and I'm right down the street from Reese in Boynton Beach.
Hi. You guys getting into cruise mode.
Yes, we are. Next week, we're on the Horse Lovers Cruise, and we're leaving you behind.
I am actually, somebody's got to literally work next week, guys.
Yeah, we will not be the ones working next week.
No, you will not be working. I'm so bummed. I mean, I understand everyone's coming from up north, but like we're full steam ahead here, showing and there's a lot going on. So I am so bummed because I am actually staying in Florida and working and not joining you guys. So I'm not getting the good end of this deal.
We're disappointed you're not going to be along.
Me too, but you guys are going to have such a good time.
It's Valentine's Day. Your husband could have bought you the cruise and taken you up there for Valentine's Day, but no.
No, he and I are working, sadly, in different locations. It's very sad. But I'm super jealous, and you guys are going to have a blast. But I get to hang out with Phil. Phil's going to come down, and we're definitely going to work some horses on Thursday through Sunday. And then I get to join you guys for the night before you get on the boat. So I'm sure that'll be quite fun.
So it's a well-coordinated plan. A little bit of work and a little bit of not work, and it's going to be good.
Oh, I'm putting Phil to work while he's here, and I'm going to put my feet up.
I'll bring the big whip down then, okay?
Yeah. I'm going to put my feet up. He's going to teach all the lessons, and I'm just going to sit and drink coffee and hang out in preparation for a really hard week.
Lovely. Well, what else is going on in Florida?
Well, we had our first show of the season, which is just crazy to say we had our first show of the season. And I kind of learned, not a big lesson, but it was a good reminder. My Follow Me, everyone's heard about him, and we bought him last year, and everyone's been following along on my journey with him. And poor guy, like here at the horse show here in our neighborhood, we tack up at home and we walk down to the horse show, and it's a good mile walk. I mean, it's pretty far to go. And of course, Saturday is trash day, which is always a fun day, and Wednesday. So there's all the trash cans and all the cars and trucks. And I mean, it is a lot. It really is. And it's a different type of show versus like when you stable there and they get used to things and they can walk around. Like, it's different. So I schooled him on Thursday. I actually showed Friday, Saturday, and we went down and schooled on Thursday, and he'd been last year and he was good. He was good to school. And then I took him down on Saturday with the horse show going on, and the poor guy, like, he just sort of like melted. Like, he just was completely overwhelmed. And he didn't do anything bad. Exactly. And it was a good reminder, like, he hasn't shown since regionals, which was in September. A little bit my fault. A little bit was, he actually qualified for nationals, but I didn't take him because it was quite expensive. And I decided not to take him. And then I was going to do some schooling shows with him. And then I got busy at home and didn't do it. Shame on me. And so this was his first show. And he really, it reminds you, like, they have a little break and they have to get sort of back in the routine of things. And so I went down, I had my plan. I had plenty of time, I thought, and we got down there and we just melted in the warm up. Nothing terrible, but he can really buck on the lunge line actually. And so I was like, I'm just going to get off. I'm just going to lunge a little while. We're going to take a deep breath. And that's what we did. And we did miss our class. we scratched. I knew we were going to miss it. And I just was like, okay, I can't get this together in 10 minutes. And it was our first second level, which is where our trainer tip's going to come from. So, but it was a good reminder. It is only February 1st, or right, the first week in February. And a reminder, he's still young, and I maybe overestimated it. I should have maybe done another schooling day, which I ended up doing anyways. So it was,
live and learn.
Live and learn. And nothing bad happened.
Right?
Yeah. But I think it was a good reminder for me. Like, it's not always getting in the ring. Like, I could have maybe made it in the ring, but I really just had to step back and say, I'm here really to make this a really nice horse at the end of the day. And it's not going to be productive to get in the ring today because he's not ready. And so and then he came back the next day, won his class, he's still pretty green for second level. But he was very good, had super canter work and super walk work. The trot work is still what needs to be developed, but it was a great experience. So it was a good reminder. Sometimes it's not always getting in the ring, or you have to make a decision. Like, I wanted to show, but we weren't ready to show. So it was a good one. Yeah. And then we schooled another horse, another youngster, kind of went down and back 3 times. By Saturday, he was also pretty tired. And then shout out to Cassandra Hummert Johnson. She's been on the show a couple times. She did her first Grand Prix on her horse. It's not her, she is a gold medal, but first Grand Prix with this horse, and did a fantastic job. And every time she goes in the ring, gets better. So that was super, super fun to watch and be a part of. So shout out to her, because that's a huge feat for sure.
Well, awesome. So I guess, all that's left is what do we got going for the show today?
Yeah, we are going to talk with our good friend Megan McIsaac, and she's on the West Coast, and she's going to tell us all about the CDIs there. So I hope you enjoy. Well, tonight we are so excited to have our friend Megan McIsaac on the show. She is an FEA rider and trainer and a good friend of Phil and mine. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Yay! Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for asking me to come on the show.
We always love it. Love it, love it, love it. So you are on a grand adventure. Can you tell us about it?
I do. You bet. Probably 6 months ago, I recognized the fact that I was burnt out, and I wanted to get away from my business for a couple weeks, which actually ended up being 7 weeks. And I'm really lucky. I have great staff, and my mother is overseeing my barn, and I have a really nice horse, and I have a sale horse.
Oh,
and so I started calling around in Florida first, and then the West Coast, it's actually the Atacon West Coast Festival, was announced. And so I have some friends in California that I called, and I said, can I come be a working student for you and work off my room and board? But I need to have the CDIs and the shows off. And they were totally cool with it. And so I left on the 28th of December, and it took us 4 days to travel out. It's 2 horses, and it was 2 people, and we just 8 hours every day. We found little horse hotels, and I arrived, and I think the first 2 weeks I was a working student, which was definitely an eye-opener because I'm a head trainer at my own barn and run my barn, so it was amazing not to be the boss. and to put myself in the shoes of my working students and what's it like, and to be a part of someone else's business and see how they structure their business. I mean, that isn't why I came, but I've definitely learned a lot in the time that I've been here. And then the main reason I came was to be able to show in the winter, and I'm in Wisconsin. So I have great colleagues in Wisconsin. If they're listening to this, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but they're not Stephen Peters, the best in the sport, the best horses. And so I said, I really want to be inspired. I want to be motivated. I want to be humble. And because I was burnt out. And so I actually got to compete against Stephen Peters in my 3rd level class with my sales horse, which was, when you're warming up with such an idol, you sit taller, you ride better. it's just been absolutely incredible. The first CDI, I was a total geek. And I mean, I was just looking around and I was like, oh my gosh, there is Robert Dober, there's Christine Trarig, there's Gunter Zeidel. You know, the list is endless. And to be able to warm up with them, and the Del Mar racetrack is absolutely stunning. It's a covered arena. You feel like you're just going into a church, and you feel really small, and it's absolutely beautiful. Scott Hayes is the manager, and fresh flowers every day. They have a lounge for the riders. It's absolutely beautiful. And Heather Peterson, I believe, is the show secretary, and I think I hounded these poor people for months because I haven't competed in a CDI in years. And I was nervous about, all the rules are different and the drug regulations and just getting out here. And so, I was sending them pictures of the products I use and what I feed my horse. And everybody has been so helpful and so nice to me. And it's just beautiful. It's really well run. The stalls are huge. So I would say it's probably the best shows facility I've been at. And plus, when I leave the hotel in the morning, I drive along the beach. I see the ocean. At night when I'm done, if it's not the freestyles, I can actually go and walk on the beach. Like, it's just been an amazing experience for me. And I'm ready to go home now, even though I have one more show. But I'm ready to go home, and I feel really good. I actually, this last show, with my sale horse, I competed, third level, and I had absolutely no expectations. And coming from the Midwest, and the people I work with, they're always supportive, but they're always like, Megan, you're going to go out there. Don't expect to get the high scores, maybe even win a class. So when I went, I didn't even expect that I'd place in the classes. And I have to do a little brag. My little sale horse actually won a class at third level, and it was his second show. So I'm thrilled. I feel good, my work is good. And, but I also am riding better because I'm looking around and going, ooh, I got to work on this. and, so it's really good to have that break. One of my clients said to me, Megan, I've been here 2.5 years and you haven't even taken a vacation. And I was like, please don't tell me that.
Yeah. You're like, that one hurts. That one hurts.
Yeah.
So Megan, can you compare sort of California to Florida? Because you have done now both circuits. So how does that, what's the difference?
I would say right now there's a big shift. I think the majority of the individuals are going to Florida. And I think the classes are larger. I also think everything is at Global. And I actually never competed at Global. I did the 3 shows where it was Jim Brandon and I can't remember the other names. But so you would travel around. And there's a lot more opportunities to socialize, in my opinion, in Florida, and to really network. The farms are closer to each other in Florida, and it's really, as of today, it's a much larger scene, whereas right now in California, Scott Hayes is really trying to build it and make more opportunities to network, but the trainers are much more spread out. And they're also doing a lot of education in California, not that they aren't in Florida, but at the actual competition. So they have master classes. So I think they're really trying to bring back the California circuit. And for me, it was really great because I knew I was going to be intimidated. And to have a smaller series, it was actually really helpful for me. So, but they're going to add on 2 more weeks next year. So they're really trying to build the California scene. So that's the difference that I see right now. I still think there's top riders in California. It's not that, but there's a greater volume in Florida, and it's more condensed. So I think that's a huge attribute for Florida.
Yeah. So Megan, you mentioned there the master classes. Did you attend? Have you been attending those? How are they going? What's up with that?
I actually have not been able to attend because I'm competing in the freestyles, so I have to warm up while the master class is going. So I've been kind of sad about that because they're bringing in really top quality. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but I want to see Charlotte is coming to the next one. I would really like to see her. I haven't been able to ever see her in person. So I hope I get to participate in that. So that's been the only downfall. It'd be great if it was like at a lunchtime or something, but they're really trying to build Saturday nights as a big party, and it's wonderful. I get to the tail end after the awards, so it's really done beautifully.
I love it. Well, talk to us a little bit. I mean, I think, like you said, from a business standpoint, it is very hard to do what you've done. So, but tell us how and why you did it. I mean, it's such a good way to refresh yourself, right?
Yes. Well, actually, I wasn't going to. I did the budget, and I had asked several of my clients if they wanted to come with me, and I gave them a budget of numbers, and all of my clients decided to stay home, which was sad, but it was also really good for me because I'm always taking care of my students and I love them, but it's a lot on one person when you go to a horse show, when you have like 7 or 12 or, and you're always having these stresses. So I ran the budget and I was like, man, this is really, really kind of frivolous. Should I really do that? And really I'm only going for mileage. I don't have major goals. I don't, I'm realistic that I'm probably not going to win a class in the CDI, but I really wanted to be in this caliber of people. And so what happened is one of my friends actually has a brain tumor. And within a week, they told me, they announced it, and I was like, oh my gosh, and she's my age. And then that same week, I had another friend who was a horse trainer. She fell off the horse, and the horse stomped on her, and she actually had to go into surgery. And I went, oh, my God, you've been working your entire life. You need to go. Like, you could be dead tomorrow. And that was actually what I did. I said, man, you're really putting your goals off for the business and for your clients. Why don't you actually focus on you? And, you're burnt out. And that's actually the real reason I left is I thought, man, life is short. And so it truly has been an adventure because I put the horses in my personal trailer and I hauled them out here with my mother going over the Rockies. And it took, 6 months of planning to do it. Where am I going to go? I had asked many people. And, it's only a short time. It's 7 weeks, and half that time I'm going to be at horse shows. So I'm not really a good working student in that sense for someone who is taking me on. And because I asked a few other people, and they wanted me for 3 months, and my business cannot afford me being gone that long. And so, especially if my clients don't come with me. So, then I plotted out all my bills, and I actually paid all of my bills before leaving. So that was exciting. So I really don't have that many stresses. Like, I'm not having to worry about my accounting. I can just focus on me. I have the 2 horses, and I've never actually had more fun in my life.
Yeah. Wow.
I wish I could be a working student all the time, but that's not realistic. And so, yeah, you just don't have the stresses. So actually, I've been thinking about restructuring my business when I go back to how to less stress in my life, because it just kind of wakes you up to like, oh my God, why am I doing this? And I have to say, I haven't groomed so much, and that's really why I started, with that connection with the horse. I've really enjoyed what I've been doing, just spending time with horses, whereas when I haven't taught a lesson when I've been here, I haven't had to be the boss of any staff. I mean, obviously I'm calling home, but they're so cute. when I do call home, everything is great. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's a farm. There's something breaking.
Something's breaking.
And I also had many meetings with my staff and my clients. I have to thank my clients because everyone I told, they were totally in support of me leaving. The only stipulation is that I have to come back. And really I couldn't do it without them because they are still, paying me, and that was really special for me that they were supportive when, because I said, I'm leaving for, 7 weeks. Let's talk about it. And every one of them said, we want you to go. So that's incredible. And my staff was really supportive. And so here we are out in California, and it's wonderful.
Well, Megan, before we let you go, I have to ask you, have you picked up any riding tips or, what have you been working on in your riding and in showing that maybe you can give to us for our show?
I think it really isn't a training tip, but really believe in yourself, and when you're struggling, acknowledge it and working on throughness. I actually had a lesson with Kathleen Rain, and my horse, actually I do have a training tip. My horse, I've been working on getting him more uphill, and he's tricky because his neck is set low. And so getting him more uphill and not leaning on my hands, and he's a big mover. And normally I work on, like a little piaffe, lots of transitions, focusing on getting the hind end under. But she actually has me tapping him on his shoulder in the first lesson, and it surprised both of us. I was really awkward at it. And, when he starts to drop in the shoulder, I tap him on the shoulder. Is what she asked me to do. And he actually responded and came up a little bit through the wither. So that was the new technique that I've learned. That would have been Saturday. So, that was a lot of fun to work on that.
That's great.
But the main thing that I've really learned is really believe in yourself, make mistakes, go out there, and believe in your horse. And because this second show, I was really having a lot of self-doubt, and it really affected my performance. So that's really what I've learned out here.
I think that's great. And so true, right? I mean, that's, even as trainers, everyone thinks, oh, you're a trainer. No, it doesn't matter. We're still riders, and we're still out there, and we're still having goals. And to be able to really step back and say, no, I need to work on my riding, and I need to believe in what I can do and my horse can do is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And really something we forget. Everyone thinks, oh, yeah, they have tons of confidence. We like to show that we do. But when you get a bunch of trainers in the room, talk about that. And it's like, it's a lot. And to go out in the big ring is hard. Nobody said that was easy. So,
it's hard, because you look around and that self-doubt comes. And if you really don't have a coach that's saying, do this, hey, you're looking good, that self-doubt creeps in. At least for me, I want to do the best by my horse. And it doesn't matter who you are. You need to have a support group. And I think we all doubt ourselves because we're wanting to do the best by our horse. I could have done that better, that's just our mentality. But I really have to say, hey, you're doing a good job. And that's also what this trip was about. We are doing a good job with these horses, and I'm really proud of them. The main thing was, could we walk from the stall to the warm-up arena to the show arena and go back, because it was the one horse's second show. So I'm thrilled.
Yeah. I love it.
Wonderful.
I love it.
It's the little things in life, right?
Yes, it is. It is. So, Megan, tell us, how can our listeners find you online if they're in California or want to or learn more about your business in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I would love that. You can look me up on the internet. It's Lindenhof. It's LINDINHOF as in Frank.com, or you can look me up on Facebook, Megan McIsaac or Lindenhof. I have both pages, and I would love to help anyone.
Super. Thanks so much, Megan.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
Well, that that was super fun, Phil, to hear all about the CDIs in California. And I hope everybody on the West Coast is able to enjoy those shows. They sound fantastic, and get a little bit of the experience we get here in Florida out west. So I hope you do. And right after this commercial break from Kentucky Performance Products, Phil and I will be back with a trainer tip.
The sun is just peeking above the tree line as you walk into the barn. You grab your horse's halter off the hook and head out to the field. The dew shimmers in the sun as you walk across the damp grass. You call his name and his head comes up as he walks toward you, looking for the apple in your pocket. You take your time grooming, enjoying the peace and quiet in the empty barn. A refreshing breeze greets you as you start down the tree-lined path. Your horse ambles along on a loose rein as you both enjoy a relaxing ride. The feeling you get on an early morning hack is why we do what we do at Kentucky Performance Products. This feeling is brought to you by Microphase. Fill the nutritional gaps in your horse's diet. Microphase Vitamin and Mineral Supplement is a low-calorie way to provide your horse with the vitamins and minerals missing from their diet. The horse that matters to you matters to us.
This week's dressage training tip is brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, home of the shoulder relief girth at TotalSaddleFit.com.
Well, Reese and I are going to talk a little bit about second level and give you some tips for riding and training it. But first, I wanted to talk about the Total Saddle Fit shoulder relief synthetic girth. You know that Reese and I had got one of these girths, and I think we both use it on a Frisian, don't we, Reese?
I did have it on a Frisian, but I actually have it on a warm blood now, and I love it. It's great, and especially here in Florida, where it's really gross and sticky. And everybody knows I just hose my girths. Yeah. And so Justin does not have a heart attack when I hose this girth, for sure. But it's great. It's fantastic. It's a great price point. And yeah, that's the wonderful thing about Total Saddle Fit and the Stretch Tech girths. The shoulder relief girths. They have Stretch Tech. They have the synthetic. They have a leather one. They have ones with covers. So you can really find what you need for your horse or horses. If you work a lot of horses, it's a great product.
Yeah, the synthetic one is really, exceeded my expectations about holding up to being, used a lot, because I've had synthetic products before. So I typically go with the leather products because they stand up to kind of hard work and everyday use a lot more. I didn't know how well this synthetic one would stand up, but I've been using it, hosing it down, washing it, not really taking that great of care of it. And it keeps coming back, and it's still like brand new. So I think that, even though it's in the lower price point, it's a really good girth, and I think you'll have it for a long time.
So Phil, we have a great, well, we're going to try to be great, Total Saddle Fit tip of the week, kind of coming from my horse show this weekend, because second level, it's really hard.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions like, oh, well, can't I just be kind of, okay at second level? Can we just, continue to train? You ride my horse for a month, and and you put the flying changes on, and then we'll just go ahead and ride third level.
I want to be
even
one of
myself,
those people.
with my own horses, I kind of think like, can I do that? But I think it's important to take. It's kind of a year in between first level and third level, if it's in the natural, normal progression of how we try and do things, to take that time to really carve out a good counter canter, which nobody likes riding counter canter. I'll tell you that right now. Everybody prefers just to teach a change and do flying changes, but I can't believe how, if you're riding, really spending time on a counter canter, how much it really improves the horse's true canter, that they learn to balance so much better. And then, when it comes to teaching the flying changes, they can do them so much straighter and so much better. So I think we, kind of thinking that we would all like to just kind of train second level and then just, move on as fast as possible. But the older I get, the more, I think like this is a really important stage of development for the horse, and it's really important to polish, each of these movements, whether it's shoulder in or travers or simple changes, not to skip movements or to skip the polish stage, because it'll come back to bite you later on in fourth level maybe, or pre-St. George, and you'll find yourself having to go back to do it anyways. So I think it's good you're showing your horse second level and really working on those things, making sure they're really, really good, and then you can carry on and move on, and it makes life easier later on, I think.
Yeah, and Phil knows his horse and works with me with him and gets to see him on Friday. So Phil knows this guy, and this is a big horse. He's very big. He's very long. The collection he's actually very talented for the higher level collections like Piaffe and Passage. But right now we're in the stage of sort of struggling, especially with the trot. And second level test 1 is pretty forgiving. If I can have the option to post, I can do that all along, right? I can make him make the trot better and everything's fine. Well, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to sit the trot and he's going to have to get stronger. And that just takes reps. That just takes time. And second 1 is pretty forgiving with that, which is nice, because in the stage where we are, that's kind of where we are. So there is a big difference between second 1 and second 3, right, Phil? I mean, second 3, it's got the business in it.
It's got all the movements, I think, it's really, and it goes here to there and everywhere. And I think this is really where you have to start riding canter, because there's a long segment in canter in second 3, it was second 2 as well. I mean, you see when you're riding first level and then riding second level, like there's just like, oh, there's so much canter, right? And so, that's why I really, with my students and with my own horses, just really try and spend a lot of time developing that canter and making sure it's really good. I know for a lot of people, they just kind of close their eyes and ride that 3-loop serpentine, with the middle counter canter, and just, but you see a lot of horses running through it and whatever. I mean, it's just such an important development phase for the horse and rider. A rider that can really ride a really good second level test has figured out the skills and is then ready to move on. And you've developed the horse's strength and carrying power, and then you're ready to really start to do some more serious collection. And if you're not going about doing this training, it's not going to show well in third level. Like you really can't just skip it and hope for the best at the next thing. So I think, our advice for everyone this week is to really take the time. It usually takes new riders about 2 years of showing second level to really kind of get the point of it and being able to ride, not just a technically correct test, but a more powerful, a more, elastic horse, and it's worth working on. It's worth doing.
It is. And I mean, that's where I am with my horse. I mean, it's a tough phase, right? This whole sort of learning collection and laying the groundwork. I will not lie. My horse was a little bit early to show him second level. I didn't want to show first level. He's really good at that. He did that last year. And he really needs to go to horse shows. Obviously, like I talked about earlier in the show, he just hasn't shown. So he needs sort of the culture. So I know I need to spend some time and do some work here and kind of slug it away. And I'm going to do our home show here again in a couple weeks to get him out, get him doing, get him going. Because that's important for him from a development standpoint and the culture standpoint, but from the riding standpoint, I know in the next 6 months, we're working hard. And this is a huge development stage for them. And that's why people struggle. So I know it. The struggle's real for me too. I'm struggling too. But it's one of those things that you have to do and continue to do and do until you really get them. And, it's a fun development stage, actually. Like I'm enjoying it with my horse. And the only reason I'm showing is it's relatively easy and it's literally in my neighborhood here in Florida. But it is fun. It's a good time. It's a fun stage of development. And, some days they get it and you're like, yes, that's it. And then other days you're like, oh, no, what happened? And I think that's very normal. That's super normal when developing. But the second level, that's why everyone hates it, including myself and Phil. So we hope that helped. If there's anybody slugging away at second level, send us
got questions.
an email.
Yeah, if you got questions about shoulder in, trav air, turn on the hunches. We love to answer them, counter canter, all of it. So send us a video, send us an email, get in touch with us on Facebook, however you want to do it. We'd love to help out with your second level problems.
You got it. Well, everybody, as always, you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website, dressageradio.com. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
The best way to find me is probably on Facebook, or you can email me at philip@horseradionetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a show. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back. And we hope you enjoy the best of next week because Philip is on a cruise with Glenn. So you guys have a great couple weeks, and we'll talk to you all soon.